We finally got details on the Voigtlander Nokton 50mm lens, the third-party lens promised way back at CP+, but it's not what you think. Stick around for the details after this short break. But first, subscribe to this channel for a chance to win a Canon EOS R5. I'll be giving one away to one lucky subscriber once this channel reaches 100,000 subscribers. Anyone above the age of 18 with a valid mailing address is eligible. Additional terms and conditions are linked in the description down below. The Voigtlander RF 50mm was announced on the heels of CP+. It was the first third-party lens approved by Canon, but we didn't have any information other than it didn't have autofocus, leaving many to wonder if it was real. But later, Canon did confirm it was real, and that they were approving third-party lenses, but still, we didn't have any details, at least no details until now. The Voigtlander Nokton 50mm lens is very fast, faster than Canon's RF 50mm f1.2. It's wide open at f1. That's right, f1, and it's going to start shipping in October for a price of, are you ready for this? $1,500. As the lens is approved by Canon, it can communicate directly to the camera body through the mount and supports EXIF information as well as IBIS. It has a 12-sheet diaphragm providing a round and soft bokeh, and it's well built, weighing in at 650 grams. This is a bit of a good news, bad news situation. We have our first Canon-approved third-party lens about ready to hit the market, and it's going to hit the market with an impressive aperture, f1. That's faster than Canon's RF 50mm f1.2, which is what I'm shooting with right now, and for a price less than Canon, but still $1,500. And the construction is good. It will produce beautiful bokeh with its 12-blade aperture, has a grinding aspherical lens mechanism. It's well designed and engineered. It feels very solid in the hand, and I wish I actually had this lens in hand to test it out, but it doesn't have autofocus. Now, the manual focus is really easy to control, at least so we're told. But still, this leaves many going, this is great, we do have an approved third-party lens, but since Canon started restricting third-party lenses that they had to approve each one on a case-by-case basis, we've only had 2 lenses being announced, and this is the first one actually coming to market, and it's got manual focus. The other one has autofocus. And this is what's frustrating people, is not that this Cosina lens, the Nokton 50mm f1, isn't a good lens, even though it doesn't have autofocus. It's that since CP+, which is going all the way back to February of 2023, and here we are, October, if you can believe that isn't too far away, nor is Thanksgiving, at least for us here in Canada, we've only got 2 approved lenses from 2 companies, and that's not enough. We want to see Sigma, we want to see Tamron, we want to see lenses like the 60 to 600mm, the 150 to 600mm, and many other lens primes, zooms, and super telephotos for affordable prices. And that's what I like about Sigma and Tamron, is that they produce very affordable lenses for photographers, but also videographers. Some of their newer lenses, they don't make those loud sounds that when you're trying to focus, which made them absolutely useless for video purposes, but for photographers. And this is the power of these lenses, of these third-party lenses. It gives us something that Canon doesn't at this point. It gives us something that Canon isn't even focusing on, and that's primes, zooms, and super telephotos, such as the 150 to 600, something that Canon has yet to do on the EF mount, let alone the RF mount. And it's that creativity, it's that depth and breadth of field that Sony has on their E mount that we have yet to see on the Canon RF mount. And I really do hope that Canon comes out with an announcement when they do announce some more lenses or cameras and say, hey, guess what, guys? We finally announced, we finally approved Sigma and Tamron to produce lenses with autofocus. That would be great. That would be exciting. And I don't think it's going to take away from Canon's brand. I know Canon's worried about protecting their marketplace because they're still slow at getting all the lenses out there. But if you look at everything that Canon's producing, we've got a ton of kit lenses that are affordable, and we've got a ton of high-end glass, and more high-end glasses on the way, such as the 200 to 500mm. But you see, what Sigma and Tamron are going to be producing isn't going to be competing with Canon's high-end L series glass. It's going to be competing in that affordable mid-range section of the market that is underserved on the RF mount. It's underserved by Canon. And all Canon has to do is when they approve Sigma and Tamron is say, okay, you know what? You're going to stay away from our high-end L series glass, and everything else is open to you with maybe the exception of these few lenses or these few focal lengths. So while I'm excited by this new Nokton 50mm f1, the construction, the results, everything that it promises to be, it's $1,500 and it doesn't have autofocus. I really want to see more lenses. I want to see Sigma and Tamron, as I'm sure you do too. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I've been getting a lot of comments by a lot of people saying that they're kind of done by Canon, or they're not going to purchase any more lenses until Canon approves Sigma and Tamron. And the RF mount, well, the R system started, I think the first camera was announced back in October of 2018, and that was the EOS R, followed by the Canon EOS RP a few months later in January. That's when they were both announced, so in October and January, and they started showing up shortly thereafter. And we had 4 lenses to start, and that was it. That was it for a while. We started to get a few more lenses, then a few more, and then starting in 2020, we started to get a lot more lenses coming out. But still, while we do have a good batch of L series glass, and I've got a few of them myself, the 50mm f1.2, the 100 to 500mm f4.5 to 6 7.1, and of course the 100mm macro f2.8. But I would love to see a 150 to 600mm. I'd love to see that 60 to 600mm and many other lenses, primes and zooms offered by Sigma and Tamron. Hopefully we do get those being announced soon, but well, I did have hope for 2023. There are no rumors indicating that we will get approval here late in 2023, and 2024. Well, I mean, it's up to you, Canon, because if you don't produce these lenses, you're going to leave some people disappointed. And let's be honest here, there is a rather huge gap in that affordable lens category between, let's say, $600 and $1,200. And what Sigma and Tamron produce does attract other people to the marketplace, helps you sell more camera bodies. And then once they get in and they see the quality of those lenses and they start to look further afield into the R system and see your L series glass, I think this is just a win-win for everybody. It's a win for you, it's a win for third-party manufacturers, and of course, it's a win for us, because after all, we love shooting with your camera bodies and some of your L series glass, but many of us are missing that affordable segment. And if you, sitting at home or at the office place, are looking for more lenses and want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest, well then go ahead and subscribe, but make sure you also choose all notifications. It really does help get this channel noticed, and it keeps you up to date on all the latest camera gear, news, and rumors. And if you want to stay up to date on all the minor news and rumors, all that stuff that isn't quite big enough to have its own separate video, well then go ahead and subscribe, follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm constantly tweeting out information, such as last week it was Build Expo on in New York City, the 50th anniversary of B&H Photo and Video. Wow, did we see some incredible sales, $1,000 off the R3. The Canon EOS R5 with the battery grip included, you were able to get this camera for a price of $27.50. That was absolutely incredible, and I was constantly tweeting out this information. All that stuff, as big as those sales were, they weren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, so go ahead and follow me on X as well. But that's it for now. It is Monday. We are on the start of another week. It is September. We're going into October in just about a week or two, so I expect to see some more announcements. Maybe not as busy as Tuesday last week when we had 4 separate announcements. That was a busy day. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.